On the 8th of May, 1912, Hollywood got a brand new movie studio, Paramount. It remains the fifth oldest studio in the world, and in the U.S., second only to Universal. Shortly after its organization, producer Adolf Zukor put 24 actors and actresses under contract, honoring each with a star. In '67, all of that changed. In 2014, Paramount became the first major studio to distribute all of its films only in digital form. Hungarian-born founder Adolf Zukor had been an investor in Nickelodeons. He saw that movies appealed to the working class and immigrants and set out to make films to please them. Among his earliest stars was Sarah Bernhardt. It was in the early years that Zukor hired an otherwise unqualified young man to be a director, Cecil B. DeMille. DeMille reworked the early Victor Lasky studios and produced a new studio bounded by Vine, Selma, Argyle, and Sunset. It was later called the Lasky-DeMille Barn. In 1914, Paramount's first DeMille-directed major film, The Squaw Man, was released. Over the years, Paramount was home to Mary Pickford, Marguerite Clark, Pauline Frederick, Douglas Fairbanks, and Rudolph Valentino. Getting too big for its original studios, Paramount spent $1 million in 1926 purchasing the 26-acre Brunton Studios at 5451 Marathon. Paramount was one of the first Hollywood studios to release a talkie. It would become famous as the DeMille Studio, although there would be problems between DeMille and studio heads. In the 40s, it was the domain of Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. Many forget that Paramount was an early backer of television, having its own stations in LA and Chicago, and at one time it owned the Dumont television network. Paramount would eventually divest itself of its theater chain, cut back on production, release its contract players, and start relying on independent producers. Only DeMille remained, remaking the 1923 Ten Commandments in the 50s. DeMille died in '59. Paramount sold off nearly 800 early classic movies. Today it still exists. It's the last major studio to still have its studios actually in Hollywood. I'm Dennis Staley.